So President Trump has just threatened to sanction the Iraqi government. So now this follows news that the Iraq's parliament had voted on Sunday to expel U.S. military forces from the country after the American airstrike that killed a top Iranian military commander. So now, by the way, the assassination happened in Iraq. So Iraq's like, yo, okay, that just happened in our backyard. We do not want that to happen here. We do not want you here. So that's really interesting. So now, according to the AP, a non binding resolution was passed on Sunday that demanded an end to foreign military presence in the country of Iraq, with the aim of forcing the U.S. to withdraw the nearly 5,000 troops that are still there. Now, after this assassination, and after the threat of retaliation from Iran, the administration has decided to send about 3,500 additional troops to the area. So instead of leaving, we're actually sending more people there. So now they say that, well, look, we don't need the United States here because we have an achievement of victory, they said, in stopping the Islamic State. By the way, the Islamic State is still there. In fact, our troops are no longer doing activities against the Islamic State in the area. So we're no longer fighting ISIS. So now the Kurds are no longer fighting ISIS. We're no longer fighting ISIS. So who's fighting ISIS? Nobody. So now they are allowed to go and regroup and rearm and, do whatever they're going to do, because now we're too busy worrying about a counterattack from Iran. Congratulations. This is what's going on here. Now, let's see. Because of this, Iraq says, well, we have ended our request for assistance from the U.S. in the fight against ISIS because, we've won, right? Okay. And now the Iraqi government, it says, must work to end the presence of any foreign troops on Iraqi soil and prevent them from using its land, airspace, or water for any reason. Now, airspace, very important. Because, even if we didn't have physical bases inside of Iraq, still, not being able to use their airspace to conduct raids against ISIS, probably not good in the fight against ISIS. So, fascinating. Now, I do have to note that it is, and I've said it before, it is non-binding. Why is it non-binding if they want us out of the country? Well, because if it were binding, then they would literally have to use their military forces to try to push us out of the country. And that would lead, of course, to all-out war. They're not going to do that. They know better than that. But the sentiment is there. They do not want us there anymore. And of course, it's because we lied to them, assassinated somebody right in their own backyard, somebody who, by the way, was allegedly seeking peace in the region. So now this comes from Max Blumenthal, writing for the Gray Zone. And he explained that Iraqi Prime Minister Adil Abdul Mahdi had planned to meet Soleimani on the morning that the general was killed to discuss a diplomatic rapprochement that Iraq was brokering between Iran and Saudi Arabia. So Iraq, being a mediator between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Ooh, you know who wouldn't like that? Us, the United States. Not only that, but Israel probably wouldn't like it either. So now, Abdul Mahdi had said that Trump had personally thanked him for his efforts, even as he was planning a hit on Soleimani, thus creating the impression that the Iranian general was safe to travel to Baghdad. So, in effect, luring the general to a predetermined location at a predetermined time to then launch an assassination strike against the general. So, meaning that this has been planned for quite some time. And on a day that they allegedly are doing peace. So that's fascinating. If true, devastating. So now, again, who loses out if Saudi Arabia and Iran become a little bit more friendly? Again, the oil companies, defense contractors, the right wing government of Israel, Netanyahu specifically, who, by the way, said, "Oh, we don't want to get dragged into this. We're not involved. We did not do that bombing." Okay, sure. But look, here's the thing: when there is conflict and uncertainty in any place, the right wing thrives. It's as true in the United States as it is in Israel. So let's be honest about that. The right wing, of course, benefits from war. It benefits from political instability. So if that's true, by the way, this completely destroys Trump's justification for that airstrike. So now, it's not a surprise that al-Mahdi, of course, and the Iraqi government wants us out. In fact, according to Reuters, al-Mahdi told Parliament, despite the internal and external difficulties that we might face, it remains best for Iraq on principle and practicality. So how did Trump take this? Well, not well. So now, Trump spoke to some reporters on Air Force One, and this is what he said, quote, "If they do ask us to leave, if we don't do it in a very friendly basis," makes no sense, "we will charge them sanctions like they've never seen before, ever." Oh, God, he's a child. He said, quote, "It'll make the Iranian sanctions look somewhat tame." So wait, no. Understand what he's saying. If Iraq, as a democracy, says, we do not want America in our country anymore, we don't want American troops in our country anymore, don't worry, we got this. So please leave because you're making everybody here very, very uncomfortable. Just go, right? Go back home. Do the thing that you said you were going to do, by the way, and ending to forever wars. Well, we don't need you anymore, so just leave. And Trump says, I don't want to. I want to stay here forever. And if you try to make us leave, well, then, we're going to do sanctions on you worse than Iran. I mean, that's amazing. What in the hell? What is going on in his tiny little pea brain? I don't understand. And look, I'd just be like, all right, fire Trump. All right, let's leave and then come back and say, I've ended the forever wars. ISIS is beaten so much to the fact that we didn't need to be in Iraq anymore. And they said, we don't need you. So I ended the forever war. Campaign promise complete. I mean, there's got to be some way that you can spin this. And of course, later on, he probably will. Like, I can almost guarantee that I ended the war in Iraq. I got all of our troops home. All right. But look, our troops really are. By the way, Trump had also promised not to just do sanctions against Iraq, but also to bomb Iran's cultural heritage sites. That is a literal war crime. So he's promising war crimes, and he's promising to sanction our allies. I mean, this is a ridiculous. What a monster. All right. So now, he also said, quote, if there's any hostility, that they do anything we think is inappropriate, we are going to put sanctions on Iraq, very big sanctions, and then added, we have an extraordinarily expensive airbase that's there. It cost billions of dollars to build, long before my time. We're not leaving unless they pay us back for it. Why should they pay us when we literally invaded their country without them wanting us to be there in the first place? Again, we just stroll in and say, we're just going to invade your country and we're going to do regime change and we're going to create all this instability in this country. And it's going to lead to tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dead civilians. And then we're going to build this gigantic airbase and we're going to charge you for it if you want us to leave. Jesus Christ, dude. You've got to be kidding me. they're supposed to be our allies. We actually are supposed to have made a democracy there. Well, that democracy just said and just took a vote and said, we don't want you here. So maybe we should go. Maybe we should get out of there. I mean, look, again, I don't think we should be in Iraq or Afghanistan. Okay, yeah, like ISIS, right? ISIS is our fault. It's kind of our fault to begin with, right? Had we not invaded Iraq in the first place, there wouldn't be an ISIS. But now, of course, they're saying, look, we got ISIS under control now, so just go, just leave, please. All right. So look, it's called democracy. You don't like it. Sad day for you, right? They took a vote, and hey, guess what? The democracy we created in Iraq works. Ironically, mission accomplished. Let's get the troops home. Let's not put sanctions on our allies for reacting to something that we did. I mean, all this shows that we just have a complete and utter moron, an idiot running our government. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/tytnation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/tytnation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.